Okay, so I know a lot of people don't know me, who I am, what I do, my life in general. Uh, my name is Nestor Junior Hernandez. Um, I just kind of wanted to, I guess, make a video, kind of like a documentary thing in a way. Just documenting, I guess, what I've been doing the past couple days, and just the progress that leads with me actually putting in the work and actually doing what I want to do in a way. But let me just establish some things, about myself. I'm 23. I have a child and a girlfriend. I just recently got a home. I have my CDL and I work at Coca-Cola. That's pretty much it. Right about what, who I am. But this video is, like I said, a documentary mainly on trading, I guess. Just because I've been on and off trading for a couple years now, maybe like 2 years. I'm not really making any good progress. Not that I've made any yet, but like I said, this is a documentary of me going forward with that. And I'm gonna just explain what I've been, doing to make that happen. So I was looking at books online, trading books, I guess, that, because I thought I needed to know more about the market to get the results I wanted. If you know what I'm saying, that's really what the majority of the books were about. The ones I was looking at online. And I don't know why this one drew my attention the most. And it's crazy because this book is probably the least analytic thing that you could get. Because a lot of other books out there are really analytical, kind of showing you the candlesticks, showing you bearish movement, showing you what bullish movement is and all that stuff. But this book, it's Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, I believe. Yeah, I was kind of, pondering if I should get it or not. But, ultimately I told myself to pull the trigger simply because I got to try, new things. I've never had a book that was directly correlated to trading. So, I just told myself I might as well do it. And I ordered myself a notebook with that too. So I was expecting this book to be, like I was saying, really analytical, kind of showing you, I guess, patterns in a way. Which is, a big part of trading because you really need to know your patterns and just really be analytical about it. But it's kind of the opposite with what I was expecting out of the book, which is kind of weird because, I really thought this was completely different than what it actually is. And that's good. It really kind of digs into your brain. I'm not that far into it, maybe like chapter 3, but as far as I've gone with it, I've learned a lot about myself. little things I would do while I'm trading. And the book basically is, you know, how to obtain a winning attitude. And, throughout the three chapters I've read, it really emphasizes a winning attitude, which I think is important now that I'm reading it because it makes a lot of sense. Think about it, if it's sports in a way. If you're on a basketball team and you have like a loser mentality and you're always pondering on your mistakes, feeling bad about yourself, you're not gonna get far. I feel like the more you think about mistakes you can make, you're gonna make them. But the book is basically telling yourself to, get the winning attitude. Always trust in yourself. It's basically what it's telling you. It's telling you to shift, from a technical analysis, like all the candlesticks and all that, etc., to switch from being mainly that to being mentally there, if you know what I mean. Because, if you're not mentally there and you're just kind of trading, you're not going to get really far. The consistency isn't really going to be there because you're not going to know how to handle any wins or any losses correctly. Like, for example, if it's your first time trading, and you get a win, this is coming from me because I did that. When you're trading and you win a certain amount of money, whether it's, like a large amount or not, you get this feeling of kind of like adrenaline in a way. Like euphoria, where you're kind of like ecstatic about it. And, you win, and then after you win, set a amount of money, you're gonna want to, like jump back into the market again without thinking about it. Which is kind of where they want you to be, but not necessarily that, because you're still not in the right brain capacity to be trading like that. Like you have to be in the trading mentality, the mental of a trader. And the book kind of tells you that it's usually the top percentage of people that have that mentality are the real consistent winners in their trading. Like right here in my notes, I said you don't need a lot of skill, just a genuine winning attitude to be successful in trading. Take accountability when you're trading, because often enough I think it's easy to say that you're blaming the market. Like, oh, I traded this and the market decided to do that. Oh, it's the market's fault, not mine. Like, you need to take accountability for yourself and the decisions you made, because the market didn't do nothing to you. You did it to yourself by the choice you made on making the trade. Therefore, you can't really blame the market, because the market is just like its own thing. It's just there for you to take and get money taken away from you. That's what the market is. The market's not gonna put you in a trade. It's not gonna force you in a trade. It's not gonna force you in a sell. It's not gonna force you to buy a certain amount, sell a certain amount. You yourself make that choice. And I think that's basically what the book is trying to, get you to understand. is that, excuse me, that you make your own choices. Take the responsibility that you need to take, and don't have so much self criticism if you make the wrong decision. It happens. You just have to learn how to take it as a lesson instead of just getting mad or upset about it and just thinking about that loss the whole time. Because if you're doing that, you're not gonna take the opportunities that you have when you're reading the market. You're reading the market, you see an opportunity, and you're gonna hesitate if you can't take a loss good in your head. I'm probably gonna make a video every day kind of explaining to you what the book is telling me, because a lot of people don't like reading, and I guess I'm doing the reading for you, kind of summarizing what the book said. But yeah, I decided to start doing this because I told myself that I think I need a genuine change in my attitude, in my life. And, I want to learn trading. That's something I've been trying to do. And I think this book is really going to help in that, area of my life, which I want to be like my full-time job. But it takes a lot to start doing this, because, I could have read the first chapter and just stopped reading it, but something about the book that kind of, it just draws me to it every time I'm home. I think about it while I'm at work, because I think it's genuine information that everybody should know, whether you trade or not, because honestly, that attitude adjustment that they tell you to make in the book, in my head and brain, I think the way they talk about it, you can apply that into real life. And I think it would genuinely help a lot of people, be more appreciative of everything around them. Because there's people out here that walk around all, mad and sad all day, blaming everything on this and that and this and that, and they can't take responsibility. But the book tells you to take responsibility for anything you do. And I like that. But yeah, I'll probably, make another, I guess, recap on the book and give my sort of analysis of what I think it means to me. And, hopefully, some of this stuff actually helps whoever's going to be watching the video, because, I for sure know that this would help me a lot, especially in the type of mind frame that I am in right now, which is kind of, I need to get it sorted out before I hit a certain age. That's my mindset. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm giving myself a good period of time in which I think this is all possible to be done, and for me to actually be doing it until I'm 30. Well, I'm 23 right now. I can't do math. 7 years? Yeah. Right. Yeah. What the fuck, dude? This is after work mind, dude. It's just all foggy and shit. But yeah, that's the video. I guess I'll post it on my YouTube channel and see what happens. But you know, it's some good stuff. I know these are blank, but I just give them page because my pen is kind of dark. But yeah, you can kind of see it. It's just, you know, taking notes on information I think is valuable to me. Maybe I'll go over it one day with you guys. But I think that's it for the video.